To CBS Sports continuing coverage of the road to the Final Four. There is more first-round action coming your way today, beginning with Pennsylvania against Illinois and Seton Hall against Oregon in the East, while in the South, Louisiana meets Tennessee and UNC-Wilmington takes on Cincinnati. Then, later today, Butler meets Florida, Lafayette takes on Temple in the East, while in the South, UNLV tangles with Tulsa, and Utah State goes up against UConn. As a player, Clark, would you rather play on the first day or the second day of the tournament?
I think I'd rather play on the first day, get it over with, and then if you get your ticket punch to move on, you can really relax and enjoy the nervous moments for the teams that are going to play on Friday.
Whichever day you play, it beats not playing at all, doesn't it?
Oh, without question.
You betcha. Coming up, everyone will see the tip of Penn, Illinois. Then we'll send those of you slated to see Seton Hall against Oregon to that tip at 12:25. For those awaiting UNC-Wilmington against Cincinnati and Louisiana against Tennessee, we'll get you the tips of those games at 12:30. Madness 2000 moves on. Enjoy the games, everyone, here on CBS.
CBS Sports exclusive coverage of the NCAA Basketball Championship is sponsored by Microsoft, Saturn, Enterprise Rent-A-Car, and by Solomon Smith Barney.
So what I'm saying is that it's
on the road to the Final Four begins in Winston-Salem, North Carolina. Let's fire up the East region on the home floor of the Wake Forest Demon Deacons, where we begin today with the Ivy League champion Penn Quakers against the Fighting Illini of Illinois. 4 games here today. We lead off with this one, and we end tonight with the 1 seed Duke taking on Lamar. Jim Nance, Billy Packer, courtside, one of our favorite days of the year here, partner.
Fired up, James.
And we've got Michael Jordan here in game 1 leading the Penn attack.
Appropriate, North Carolina. Michael Jordan, but a different guy, but an outstanding player. Michael Jordan was the player of the year in the Ivy League this year. First team all Ivy League the last 2 years. Great crossover dribble, great strength, an outstanding number 2 guard. And when you talk about number 2 guards, Corey Bradford, one of the best in the country. You'll see the only way he got stopped in the Big Ten tournament when Hudson came down and hit him with that elbow. Broke his nose, but watch what determination he has. Came back, and there's that patented jump shot. He is the record holder at Illinois.
Coach Fran Dunphy in his 11th year as the Penn head coach. His team was in the tournament a year ago, led by 11 at halftime against Florida, only to fall out in Seattle to the Gators. His lineup, a freshman Onyekwe, Brown, Owens, strong backcourt with Langle and Jordan. And for the Fighting Illini, McLean, Lucas Johnson, surging freshman Cook, Williams, and Bradford, who will not play with a mask today with that broken nose. There's Lon Kruger. 3rd time in 4 years he's taken Illinois to the NCAA tournament. The Quakers have first possession here.
Jim, a horrible toss, and Owens stole the tap. Good move on his part when he saw it was a bad toss.
Michael Jordan, McLean on him.
McLean's got a lot of size. Jordan should have a quickness advantage.
Onyekwe, the freshman from London, with an opening 3.
This young man, Jim, has played outstanding games against tougher opponents. You see the zone defense. 2-3 starting off. Look for Bradford to try to find himself a hole against this zone. They're matching up very high outside. Looks like they'd want to force Illinois to get the ball down inside. Look at how wide out this zone is.
Cook comes up short from way outside. Onyekwe clears it for the Quakers.
I love the concept by Fran Dunphy against Illinois. Illinois is going to have to go ahead and get Cook down inside or bring Griffin in the game. That zone is really wide.
Dump off on Langle in the paint. A traveling violation on Owens. Penn undefeated in Ivy League play this year, 14-0. Overall, 2nd longest win streak in the country. Utah State's win streak will be on the line today, this afternoon, taking on Connecticut.
Now watch this defense by Penn. They showed the zone. Now they're playing man-to-man the second go-round here. Cook really posts up low, and Owens just a silly foul.
Owens on the hold. Senior out of Audubon, New Jersey.
Penn showed the 2-3 zone, really put it out high, and then go back to a man-to-man. Now they're back in the zone on the out-of-bounds situation. See if they stay that way. Stays on.
Pulled up. He's getting past. Johnson thought about it. Kicks Kicks it back out to Williams. McClain will take the jumper. First two for Illinois.
They're going to play that zone. That's where it has to be attacked. Right at the foul line there. McClain, not a great scorer or shooter, but took advantage of it.
We saw earlier the Penn win streak and early season losses against some top-notch teams. And a whistle and a reach-in on Illinois. Early games at Kentucky, at Auburn, at Temple, losing by only 4, and at Kansas, where they were really blown off the floor.
Lost by 46. But, Jim, when you take a look at the Ivy League, really a two-team league this year with Princeton and Penn. So I think that was great scheduling by Fran Dunphy, realizing he had to get these guys battle-tested, even if they had to go on the road against strong opponents.
Owens with the steal. Langle might get another try. Yes. 3. Yes, this time.
Bad recovery by Illinois on the missed shot. Langle will take advantage of it. He has tremendous range. First-team All-Ivy League player. Good size for a two-guard.
Heads up play by Jeff Owens after the first Langle miss.
Johnson is still in that hole in the middle. That'll be available.
Lane, wow, almost into the first row. Well, if you're expecting Seton Hall or Oregon, we'll be pulling out shortly to get you to the start of that game. Or the Louisiana, Tennessee game. Carolina, Wilmington against Cincinnati, all in the early set.
Owens is getting good position on Cook down inside, but nobody's delivered the ball so far.
Michael Jordan over Bradford, 3, rattles out.
And Jim, you know, I think for Penn, you got a lot of players on the floor that had good games against Florida last year, Langle and Jordan particularly. So it's not like they're not ready to play against quality competition.
Frank Williams with a 3 for Illinois. Illinois, the number 4 seed in the East, its highest seed since 1989. A team that was a number 1 seed and went on to the Final Four. Langle. McClain out battling on Nickway for the rebound.
There's McClain's versatility. Can rebound, can guard multiple players, and so far is shooting the ball well.
McClain with 4 of Illinois' 7. Put them in front for the first time. Jordan got away from McClain, kicks it over. Langle clears out, steps in 2.
Got to make that shot. Williams not doing the job defensively to recover.
Steal by Brown.
No numbers here for Jordan, and he can't catch up to it.
Pennsylvania, 9,800. Student body, 18th time in the NCAA tournament. Final 4 team of 1979, where their journey to Salt Lake City in the Final 4 really began right through the state of North Carolina.
They have never beaten, however, Illinois, and there's Cook keeping the ball over his head. Penn doing a nice job on the perimeter in the zone.
There's a timeout on the floor.
Penn fans are here. Again, some of you will be leaving us shortly. Get you there for the tip times of your games. South bracket. But right now, let's check in with Bonnie Bernstein. Bonnie?
Hi there, Jim. Well, obviously, one of the big stories in this game is the broken nose of Illinois' leading scorer, Corey Bradford. He's going to have surgery on that nose Monday, regardless of how Illinois plays this weekend. But there is a reason why he's not wearing a protective face mask. On Tuesday, with the mask on, Corey fell on his face, and going to the doctor the next day, the doctor said, well, that actually straightened your nose out a little bit. So Bradford said, you know what, it's going to hurt either way, so I'm just not going to wear it. And much to the dismay of trainer Rod Cardinal, he left that mask in his hotel room this morning.
And that last touch by Illinois, yes, when he fell, we're talking about, well, there's Rod Cardinal, father of Brian Cardinal, his son advancing with Purdue, hitting a key shot very into that game yesterday against Dayton.
That's got to be kind of tough. A father that's training one team has got a son in the tournament on another team. Of course, he's had to go up against his son many times in Illinois, and so far Brian has really taken advantage of his dad in regard to those matchups.
Williams with the jumper. Finished that story on Corey Bradford when he fell on his face. It really did. It jarred him and excruciating pain. But when they went to the doctor, they said really the effect was you almost reset it to put it back in place.
I can think of nicer ways to do that.
Yeah, that's not the way you'd want to do it. A 7-point run here by the Fighting Illini.
Kapalia in the game right now. Nice matchup that he has on Onikwe.
Langle, long range three.
Jim, he's getting excellent looks as Langle, and he's got to make these if Penn's going to stay in the ballgame. Even though Illinois is not a great rebounding team by Big Ten standards, they do have an advantage in this game.
Turnaround goes for Marcus Griffin. 9-point run. And Langle's had some good looks, Billy. He's only 1 for 5 from the field.
Yes, he's got to make these shots to the outside he's been getting. Bradford's on him. He's got height on Bradford. He's taking good spots, just not making open shots. Tough shot.
Jordan, Yipway plucks it, has it blocked by Kapalia, but they'll say he got a piece of the arm.
It might have been Griffin as well, Jim, and what we have right here now, Illinois going to their bench, which is extremely deep and very young as well. They've got guys, as we see Brown coming into the ball game right now, that were starters last year, that are getting an opportunity to come off that bench now, so they really have an advantage on Penn in that area.
They did call it, Billy, on Griffin. Onyekwe will shoot 2. Freshman originally bound for Long Beach State. Born, raised in Nigeria. His father an importer, his mother a doctor. They moved when Uganda was 14 to London. That's where he played basketball for the first time. He signed a letter originally at Long Beach State. Spent a year at a prep school about an hour and a half outside of Philadelphia in Mercersburg Prep. Changed his mind.
Well, somebody got to him and talked about the academic environment at Penn. Penn does not recognize, by the way, the letter of intent. The Ivy League does not recognize the letter of intent. That's why he didn't need any release. He was immediately eligible.
Take away the basket, traveling against Williams. Illinois, 36,000 students strong in its 20th NCAA tournament appearance. 4 Final Fours, 1949, 51, 52. Then a 37-year gap until Lou Hinson took them back to Seattle, Final Four 1989.
In a matchup with Michigan, the eventual champion that they had beaten twice during the regular year, but couldn't make it there. Good pickoff by Griffin. Harrington in the game, an outstanding shooter.
Harrington with the 3. Illinois hit 6 in a row from the field.
Now what we're seeing right now is Illinois bench coming off there and coming in with an attitude. A lot of fresh bodies.
Lon Kruger made the change in his career from Florida to Illinois 4 years ago this week, March 21st, 1996. After really bringing life into the Florida program, a school that was 7-21 before he went to Florida, and in his 5th year he took him to the Final Four in Charlotte, 1994.
Well, when you think that he took over a Kansas State team that was last in the league before he got there, one of the great program builders. And Jim, you know, I guess we could call this particular site the program builder site. We've got Pat Kennedy, who's taken 3 different teams to the NCAA tournament. Mike Dean has taken 3 different teams to the NCAA tournament, and Lon Kruger has as well. I bet you that's never happened before, that they were all on the same site.
Well, there have only been 26 coaches in the history that have taken 3 teams to the NCAA tournament. 3 of the 26 are here. Blocked by Illinois. 12-0 run by the Illini.
Griffin with a nice pick-off defensively. I really think that I like the way Penn was playing defensively to start this game in that spread-out 2-3 zone. They have no way they're going to match up man-to-man against Illinois.
Marcus Griffin with the turnaround.
Of course, when you get behind, even though it's early in the game, I think you got to be patient with that zone.
14 unanswered. And Kapalia with the steal. Make it 16 in a row.
Onikwe wanted to grab him and couldn't do it. Kapalia too strong. Kapalia, as you can remember, Jim, had a great Big Ten tournament. He's a guy that they say fundamentally does some things that within the framework of the team is not what they want, but he has that ability to come in as a free spirit and make things happen.
Well, Jordan
having a hard time getting looks so far today. Brown on him now.
Owens backs away and fade away jumper goes.
You notice there was no doubling down there whatsoever. They expected Griffin to stay right with him. A good step away that time by Owens.
They had 11 in a row empty trips. 11 straight before the basket by Owens. Breaks a 16-point run by Illinois. The Fighting Illini leads by 10. We're back in Winston-Salem. Let's check now the Microsoft data bank. The last Big Ten team to win an NCAA championship, Michigan, 1989. During the 90s, there were 6 Final Four appearances by the Big Ten from 5 programs. 2 for Michigan. Indiana went
5 twice.
Minnesota went once. Ohio State and Michigan State last year. But no Big Ten titles in the 90s out of the 6 Big Ten appearances in the Final Four. Not since '89 and the Wolverines with Steve Fisher, interim coach at the time.
There's a nice double team by Penn. Very aggressive man-to-man. Tough break for Fran Dunphy's team. They come out of that timeout, pick up with an aggressive man-to-man defense, and they get a cheap foul out of it. He is hot with those officials, too. Outstanding player at LaSalle. Played on one of the great LaSalle teams.
Compare any 2 players in the tournament. Find out who has the edge. Player matchup feature. Check out Mark Mayhem at cbs.sportsline.com or America Online. Keyword CBS Sportsline.
There's that man-to-man tough, and Kapalia with a walk. Excellent move. There you have 2 young men from Europe going head-to-head against each other, Jim.
Kapalia, Kapitanovich, who is checked in now with the Penn Quakers.
Blackskin got into the ball game with Brown, has a little advantage, and he got hit in the face. No call by the official. It gets called for a turnover. Brown's got a lot of size on him and power.
David Klatsky, just a freshman from Homedale, New Jersey. Not turnover prone, but commits one that time.
But Jim, there is a big drop-off between Penn and Princeton in the Ivy League and the rest they play against. So let's be quite honest. For the last, what would you say, 2 months, Penn has not faced these kind of athletes. And it really is affecting them. Now, their job right now as a team is to stay in this game and try to turn it into as much a half-court game as they can, to stay close, get their bearings, and then be ready to go in the second half.
Michael Jordan has picked up a 2nd foul. Lucas Johnson comes back into the Illinois lineup.
We saw Michael Jordan in the game against Kentucky. First time I got a chance to watch him play on that murderous stretch of games they had. Saul Smith did a great job. Desmond Allison did a great job on him as well. He just could not get anything going. Is that his third?
That is. They got him on a blocking foul.
Third foul.
Jordan's 3rd.
He'll be sitting down, and this really makes things tough for Penn. As we mentioned, the Ivy League Player of the Year had an outstanding game last year against Florida in the first round, of which Penn lost, scoring 15 points. But he's going to be sitting a long time here in this first half now. He's going to go 11 minutes and 13 seconds and not get back in.
Bradford, this is the jumper. Brown rebounds. Jordan did not score. 0 for 1 from the field and 3 fouls on the Ivy League Player of the Year.
Good defense by Brown. Koski just can't get by him.
Illinois had made 8 straight from the field before that last miss. Kapitanovich needs some help. He'll go back out. Langle. Last touch by Harrington. 12 on the shot clock.
Jim, I'm going to make a statement. I don't know if it's true, but I'm just thinking around the country. I don't know if anybody has a better second 5 than does Illinois. Well, you know, they don't put anybody on the floor. That's not a pretty good Division I basketball player.
Langle baseliner short. He's having a tough day from the field.
Bradford hasn't really gotten untracked. There he puts up a 3 that really wasn't necessary. With this kind of a working margin, 10 points, they should go inside the Cook, keep the pressure on Penn.
You know, the 3 fouls on Jordan all came in a 39-second span.
Well, Jim, they were just reach fouls defensively. No charge fouls involved in that bunch at all. So just some tough calls. He's in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Let's see what they can do. They were down. The score remains 18-8, down 10 when Jordan goes out with 11 minutes and change to go in the first half.
We talked about the differential in the games that they had of common opponents. Penn State being one that Penn lost to by 4. And there you have a situation where Illinois has beaten Penn State 3 times that they played this year.
Owens for help on Yikwe. Johnson fouled on the way up.
This young man's going to be an outstanding player.
Cook commits his first.
You think of all the great players that played at Penn, and back in the early 70s when they were truly an outstanding team. Here we see tournament. Auburn, Kentucky, LSU, SEC looking good there, Jim.
Big Ten also undefeated day 1. Conference USA is struggling.
Yeah, they really are. Got hammered in the NIT, and then Louisville losing there, but not that big an upset. You know, you're talking about a tournament-tested club in Gonzaga. Played an outstanding schedule. Louisville, a team that played extremely good basketball this year at home, but had their problems on the road. Obviously, everything neutral sites in regard to NCAA tournament play.
Onyekwe gets them both. Conference USA has lost 6 out of 6 first-round games, 4 of them coming in the NIT, 2 in the tournament.
Well, we'll see if that holds true with their #1 team, Cincinnati, which is not going to be the same team that they had for the regular season, but obviously still a very potent team. And there you see Penn going back to the 2-3 zone, leaving Williams wide open.
He said, I have to take it, so he knocks down the 3. We'll see DePaul out of Conference USA here tonight against Kansas, which might be really, on paper, the most interesting first-round matchup in the tournament, Kansas-DePaul. 8-9 games tonight.
Great steal from behind.
Archibong with driving baseline.
How about those hands by Williams? Got it from behind. And Archibong had him beat.
Ducks for the Quakers. Owens and Klatsky come in. Kapitanovic and Brown to the bench.
Well, you can see what's the problem now with Jordan out of there. Langle is required with that club they had on the floor to be the point guard. He's really going to have trouble ball handling against the Bradford or Williams.
Langle, all Ivy, have hit only 1 of 6 from the field.
And he had good looks early in the ball game, getting nothing now.
Klatsky with a 3, short.
Good
Archibong steps in, stolen away. Williams reached in, up ahead to McLean. Klatsky defending. McLean followed up, no.
How about Griffin hustling down the court? That's off Klatsky's foot.
Penn got careless on the rebound after a hard-fought stand.
McLean probably would have been better off, even though he had a size advantage on that break, to hold up and wait for the trailer, because Griffin was coming right behind him and would have had an easy finish.
Brown comes back. McLean seldom makes judgment mistakes.
No, he's a very unselfish basketball player, and I just think that he felt he had such an overwhelming advantage on Klatsky, just was going to go over it.
Son of a coach, his father Wayne, head coach at Peoria Manual. Williams with another 3. He is off to some start here. 11 for the freshman from Peoria who played for Coach Wayne McLean.
Well, see, in this kind of game, Williams can just be a regular player, a 2-guard. He doesn't have to be the point guard, and he enjoys that particular role.
Archibong underneath, needs help, out to Brown, short. Brown tips it out, but it's all Illinois. Johnson puts it back in the hands of Bradford. Oh, Klatsky reaches in for the steal. 2-on-2, what will he do?
He palmed the
Spins, Owens on the jam.
He palmed the ball and got away with it. Referee looking right at it, and he just held it and froze the defense.
It'll only show up as a steal and an assist in the book.
There they go back to the 2-3 zone, but the way Williams is shooting in Bradford, that zone could have problems handling these two.
Boy, McLean's throwing a couple of tough picks out there.
Oh, he will.
Right into the chest of Klatsky. Bounces it in, Griffin, and 1.
High school teammates know how to find each other. You've got 3 of them right out there, Williams and McLean and Griffin. And it went 1, 2, 3, finish. Here we see the great pass. Look at Griffin looking right into his hands. Beautiful. And then he just goes above everybody.
All teammates, again, playing for Coach Wayne McLean.
This is a big gamble now by Fran Dunphy.
Michael Jordan, huh?
Back into the ball game with 3 fouls on him. 7:57 to go. He has got to be careful.
So he's set for a little more than 3 minutes. Illinois had 12 points off the bench.
Clark Kellogg in New York. We'll keep track of what's going on between Penn and Illinois while we'll take you around the country and tell you first what's happening in Nashville. UNC-Wilmington trailing the Cincinnati Bearcats. The score there is now a 12-7 score. Under 12 minutes to play. UNC-Wilmington making its first appearance in the tournament. The Bearcats can be kind of a intimidating opponent.
Without question, the Bearcats in the midst of a 7-0 run. Good defense there. But I just don't think Wilmington has enough staying power. They don't have enough extra food in the pantry to deal with Cincinnati.
In Birmingham, Alabama, South Region first-round action between the Raging Cajuns of Louisiana and the Volunteers of Tennessee. This is a tie game. We talked in the pregame show, Clark, about the resolve these Volunteers might have after an early exit last year via the blowout.
And, you know, they're as talented as any team in the country, Greg, when you talk about Tennessee. Their consistency has wavered, and sometimes they don't come out and play with the tenacity they need to. And right now, Louisiana is coming at them, going at them in a physical nature, and staying close right now.
Sometimes a team like the Raging Cajuns comes out of an area not a lot of people are familiar with, and Tennessee is getting used to them in a hurry.
Getting tested, and again, these guys play with a lot of confidence. Jesse Evans has done a nice job as the head coach there. Lonnie Thomas is a tremendous player inside, and these guys aren't afraid. They're not going to be afraid to take it right to Tennessee. It'll be interesting to see how Tennessee handles that kind of attitude they're seeing from Louisiana.
In Buffalo, the Seton Hall Pirates taking on the Ducks of Oregon, and right now Seton Hall with a 20-15 lead. Talk about teams coming in from different angles, Clark. Seton Hall came in struggling into the tournament while Oregon was on fire at the end of the season.
This is one of the more entertaining games we'll see today, I think, because Oregon likes to transition the basketball. They've got good three-point shooters, excellent finishers in the break, primarily Alex Scales. Seton Hall has a strong perimeter game headed by Shaheen Holloway and Darius Lane. I think this game could be very, very tight and entertaining because of the style of play both teams like to employ.
Haven't seen these guys around the tournament for a while. The Hall making its first tournament appearance since 1994. Oregon's second NCAA appearance since 1961.
Seton Hall off to a good start, 62% shooting so far, and Holloway 7 points on 3 of 3 shooting.
The Pirates come in with a 20-9 record, while the Ducks out of the Pac-10 22-7. So at least on paper, this will be a pretty competitive match.
And I think it will be on the floor. The backcourt for Seton Hall has carried them all year, and right now their backcourt outscoring Oregon's 13-7.
All right, Clark, we'll keep you updated on those games, but let's take you back to Winston-Salem right now. Penn and Illinois, 27-16 Illini. Jim Nance and Billy Packard.
So the Ivy League star player still has not scored. He's on the bench. Michael Jordan with 3 fouls. Corey Bradford bumped by Langle, no call.
Not a good shot. These are bad selections. And what's happening is a calculated risk by Lon Kruger to go to this bench deep. He's gone to it, but it's taken his team somewhat out of sight, out of sync.
Langle just doesn't have the touch so far. Could have gotten it under 10. It's 1 for 7 from the field.
Lon Kruger said settle down to Bradford as well here.
Lane
powering his way in here. Chukwudebe doesn't have the great hands inside.
McLean finds room, and then the follow-up by Kripalya.
Just too many bodies.
Seton Hall and Oregon, interesting 7-10 game in the East. Tommy Amaker's first game into the NCAA tournament in 2000.
As a coach.
As a coach.
He's played in plenty of them as a player.
Langle, maybe this time? No.
Nope. Rushing the shot. He had better looks at the start of this game. Chukwudebe wants the easy hit, doesn't get it. This should be Bradford's shot.
Pump fake. Nope. Langle underneath.
He faked himself out that time, trying to put up the jump shot with the fake. He probably had a better shot if he just released.
Chukwudebe on the back.
Pushing from behind, gets called But again, there's no way that Illinois can get in any foul trouble. They're going to bring in 4 new players right now,
including Archibald, Owens, and Jordan will come back in.
Jim, you remember that outstanding Penn team back in both 93 and 94, undefeated in the Ivy League. Remember that 94 team beat Nebraska under Fran Dunphy, ran into a team called Florida, coached by Lon Kruger, that knocked off Penn after they had beat Nebraska. There's Jordan first
on the board with a 3.
Now let's see with Cook back in the game. Illinois goes back inside, see if they can get their offense rolling. Nice step-in move, but doesn't get the space.
Last touch by Penn, no foul on the Cook shot. There was some contact.
Yeah, Owens doesn't mind banging around in there. He had to sit out 1 year with medical problem. He has an opportunity to come back in redshirt with a redshirt year. But you know what, Jim, is interesting? If he comes back at Penn, he's looking at a $35,000 cost to come back at Penn. That's right. Most guys come back for that 5th year on scholarship. Penn does not have scholarships.
No athletic scholarships. Johnson gets free. He'll head to the line for 2. Jordan went out again. They've taken him out every chance they get on a whistle on the defensive end.
Yeah, they're trying to platoon here. He comes back in for offense and tries to get him out of there for defensive purposes. And interestingly, as much as he drives and go to the basket, he did not pick up any offensive fouls. All of those fouls, Jim, were in a period less than a minute. All reach-in defensive fouls.
Lucas Johnson, younger brother of Brian Johnson, starter on the 1997 Illinois Big Ten championship team. The Chicago suburb of Des Plaines, just a sophomore.
Had 11 rebounds against Michigan State in their loss in the Big Ten championship game. Had a great Big Ten tournament last year, his first year in the league.
Illinois by 12, and seen the Illini by as much as 15 at one time in this half.
Nice job by Johnson coming up to let Brown know the screen was behind him.
Jordan now frees himself from Harrington. Back out on Yikwe.
Boy, Langley having a hard time getting any shots off now, isn't he? Just doesn't have the quickness to create his own shot.
7 on the shot clock.
This man does.
Jordan. Owens underneath with 1 on the shot clock. In time.
Nice job by Owens. He plays with a lot of intensity, and he's listed at 6'11", and he's every bit that.
Oh, what? There's Nick.
There's just exactly what I was talking about on the other end. Onikwe did not come up to let his teammate know that there was a solid screen coming.
It was solid.
Oh, don't say it.
Felt the tremble from here.
The screener's man has got to help his teammate. Harrington, a good shooter. Surprised they don't put the ball in somebody's hands to force Jordan to play defensively. Like Harrington, go ahead and take it.
Johnson on Yikwe got a piece of it. Illinois a little cold now. 2 of its last 9.
Now they're trying to do everything one-on-one. They've got
Jordan gets it to 7.
Jim, they've really gotten out of sync offensively. Lon Kruger will go back and look at this tape and say, hey, I had a chance to put this team away. I went to my bench. They gave Penn a lot of confidence.
And the big gamble by Dunphy has paid off so far as Jordan has played foul-free since returning to the game and hit a couple of threes.
Right, here is Owens picking up his 2nd cheap foul in the game. Not a wise play on his part. You watch that. That's his 3rd, and watch the play right here, Jim. See, that's just a foolish foul.
He will be replaced by Kapitanovich.
And now you have Penn making a nice comeback, but in serious foul trouble with 2 key players. Key inside man with 3, and Jordan with 3.
12-4 run by Penn. 2 shots for Cleotis Brown. 1-on-1. One official had signaled 2.
Well, it could have been 2. The man was, unless they want to call it an intentional foul.
It was a double bonus, but it wasn't.
No. Nice speed.
Blocking foul on Lucas Johnson.
Wow. I didn't see that one.
That'll bring on a 1-1.
Johnson is behind Onyekwe. Now, how do you call that in any way, shape, or form? It's either a walk or it's a charge, but it can't be a defensive foul.
Coming up, Pennzoil at the half. Greg Gumbel and Clark Kellogg from New York. All the scores and look-ins from other games at other sites. All coming up on Pennzoil at the half.
Johnson not getting any help from that referee, but that was a call that should have been overruled.
So 1-1 for Onyekwe. What, he can hit 2 here, Bill? We've got a 5-point game.
This young man had 14 against Kansas, 14 against Kentucky. So he comes up big in big games, although he missed those. And if you're Illinois, I think it's time to get the ball to Griffin. There he is.
Over Kapitanovich. Rebound skying was Onyekwe.
That's still a good move to get it down inside.
Brown corner 3. Yes!
How about this comeback?
31-27.
Shoe off. Now we have a situation. Harrington lost his shoe. He's playing without a shoe, and that is tough.
And a timeout called by Illinois.
Good comeback. Lon Kruger, an outstanding coach, but he outcoached himself in his half.
Tolerance are destroying lives and communities across the country. Now Chuck Norris battles America's fiercest enemy. An all-new Walker Texas Rangers Saturday on CBS.
Won't we see them today on CBS with Lamar?
Yeah, the Texas Rangers, the Cardinals from Lamar.
There you go. Then we'll see the shoe coming off. Walks, runs right out of the shoe. Harrington does the right thing because the official does not have to give him an opportunity to put it back on. Illinois wisely took the 20-second timeout for the simple reason that on a floor with just plain socks, you have a hard time, if you're the point guard, trying to control yourself from sliding all over the place.
We did not have a super upset yesterday, but perhaps the shoe will fit today for Penn against Illinois. Yes, Gonzaga was a winner against Louisville, but that was not a huge upset. Bradford off the mark, and will this be over the back? Over the back on Illinois?
No, the other way around. It's going on. And you know what Bradford is doing today, Jim? He is pump faking on every jump shot instead of catching and just releasing. The pump fake is throwing him somewhat out of balance, and he hadn't been able to hit any of them.
1-1 for Griffin. Yes, Bradford 0 for 4 from the field, shut out. 1-1. Looks like Griffin fires, bangs it home.
I think Bradford upset with himself because he feels he's getting good looks, but he's making his shot much more difficult than it needs to be.
Again, Jordan returns for the next possession. Platsky also back for the Quakers.
Isn't it interesting how often you can get a man in the two-platoon system, let him play the offensive end and not the defense? Griffin not a good free throw shooter.
Oh, stolen away. Platsky had to shuttle the ball over to Jordan. Quick hands, though, stolen away. Yeah, they've been able to do that 4 or 5 times already with Jordan.
Now here's where Bradford ought to take Jordan one-on-one. Gives it up.
Griffin up and over. Anyway,
now Illinois getting back to their game, going inside where they have a big advantage, whether it's Cook or Griffin.
Under a minute to play in the half. Jordan, ball deflected, stolen. Illinois.
Well, McClain does have strong and quick hands. A lot of reaching in to make those steals.
10-second differential game clock to shot clock.
Boy, why they have... No, there's...
Oh, that was close.
Exactly. Why they have a situation right now that you get the ball out to Bradford and let him go one-on-one with Jordan.
Long rebound to Jordan.
Not thinking.
Penn could take the last shot, Billy.
Yeah, there was a situation where you have Jordan matched up on Bradford. They should have cleared out.
Who else but Michael Jordan would relish this role to take the last shot of a half or a game? 7 seconds. 6, 5. Jordan to the corner with 2. Kapitanovich with 1. Got it at the buzzer.
Nice comeback by the University of Pennsylvania when they were in a position to be blown right out of here.
They cut 10 points into that Illinois lead that at one time had swelled to 27-12. It's 34-29.
Up on Pennzoil at the half, Clark Kellogg and I will have scores and a look at other live action around the country. That's right after this message and a word from your local station. And I have scores and live action coming your way right now.
CBS Sports presents Pennzoil at the Half, sponsored by Pennzoil, specially formulated for today's stop-and-go driving. Stop, go, Pennzoil.
Hi, everyone. Greg Gumbel. Welcome back to our studios in New York and to Pennzoil at the Half. I'm Greg Gumbel, along with Clark Kellogg. Halftime of the Penn-Illinois game. The Fighting Illini 34-29. Looked like it might be a blowout early on, but those Quakers came back.
They certainly did. Both teams have threatened to make my all-spurt ability team.
And we know how important that is.
But they haven't done it consistently enough. Michael Jordan has spearheaded that run to end the half for Penn, and that's why they're within 5.
All right, Clark. Meanwhile, in the South Region, first-round action in Birmingham, Alabama, the Raging Cajuns of Louisiana leading Tennessee by a score of 22-13. Just under 6.5 to play in the first half. Let's take you to the Birmingham Jefferson Civic Center. Dick Enberg and James Worthy.
Louisiana Raging Cajuns leading Tennessee. A surprise here in Birmingham, 22-13. The Raging Cajuns, formerly Southwestern Louisiana, changed their name in their centennial year. And they got 7 quick points from Lonnie Thomas, their 6'8" junior center. And they've held off Tennessee. A very cold start for the Volunteers. The zone defense has frustrated Tennessee, unable to hit from outside.
The Raging Cajuns started out with a man-to-man on Harris and frustrated him. Then they went to the zone, and Tennessee has not been able to penetrate it. We just saw another monster dunk by Lonnie Thompson, trailing the break. He's on fire with 9 points.
11-point lead, the biggest of the game. Here's Harris. They need him to score. And an offensive rebound to Higgins. Back out to Woods. Tennessee with its winningest year. 24 victories this year for Jerry Green. But they lost to South Carolina in the first game of the SEC tournament, and the foul inside. I believe ticketed was number 30, Lonnie Thomas.
Oh, Lonnie Thomas has been airborne. You're going to see Lonnie Thomas trailing the break right there. Then he comes up uncontested. Tennessee's transition defense poor as the Raging Cajuns start to get a little transition game of themselves.
Thomas with his first foul sends C.J. Black to the line for the Vols, the senior from Chattanooga, averaging just under 9 a game. And that's his 5th point. Vincent Yarbrough returns and replaces Terrence Woods.
They may want to explore C.J. Black down in the post. He has good ball pump fakes and usually gets people up in the air, so he should be able to get to the line with those pump fakes.
Black 4 for 4 from the line, 6 in the game. 9-point Louisiana lead. 5.5 to go. First half here in Birmingham.
Very patient offense for the Raging Cajuns. Pass the ball around the perimeter, and then looking for
Shea Whiting.
You said it.
His 4th point. And Louisiana back up by 11.
Look at the collapsing defense when the ball comes inside.
Yarbrough hit his first 3, but it's been full 10. Isaiah Victor, and he is denied by Thomas, but Thomas may have picked up the foul. Let's see. Yes, it is Thomas who has picked up his 2nd.
So there's a pass from Butler after he drives to the bucket. Nice shot by White. And here's the defense. I think the key for Louisiana Lafayette is no freebies this afternoon. They're going to make Tennessee earn them all.
So Yarbrough at the line.
Tennessee Volunteers with their hands full in the first round of the South. Louisiana leading it by a score of 26-16. Meanwhile, in the East region in Buffalo, Seton Hall leading the Ducks of Oregon 32-31, 3:05 to play in the first half there. And in Nashville, first round action in the South, UNC-Wilmington trading the Bearcats of Cincinnati, the number 2 seed, 22-13, coming up on 2 minutes to play. We remind you, our next round of games features Butler against 5th seed Florida in the East, and Temple, the number 2 seed in the East, against Lafayette. UNLV plays Tulsa, and Utah State against UConn in the South. Thanks for joining us here on Pennzoil at the Half. We'll send you back to Winston-Salem for the second half right after this.
Pennzoil at the Half has been sponsored by Pennzoil, Specially formulated for today's stop-and-go driving. Stop, go, Pennzoil.
Leads at halftime by 5, 34-29.
Nortel Networks presents the Virtual Playbook.
Here we'll see what Illinois can do effectively in the second half. They got great play off the bench, particularly Marcus Griffin, who was 4 for 7. And look at this is how they get the entry pass. Penn really doesn't have the players to handle this. Griffin with excellent position on the inside. You'll see it right here. He's got the low post position. Excellent entry pass from Harrington. The turnaround jumper is there. Griffin in the first half had 10 big points and 2 rebounds.
Second half from Winston Salem. Coming up next.
It's exclusive coverage of the NCAA Basketball Championship is sponsored by Chevrolet, the Delta Faucet Company, AC Delco Automotive Parts, and by Fidelity Investments.
Penn closed out the half on a 17-7 run. Even with star Michael Jordan only able to play limited action the back half of the opening stanza with 3 fouls. Hit a couple of threes, though, as they shuttled them in and out. Offense, defense. Williams leads Illinois with 11. Billy, how about the bench for the Illini overall?
Well, good news, bad news, Jim. The bench was very productive, 17 of actually 50% of their points. But what happened in that game is Lon Kruger had an opportunity to blow this thing wide open, went to his bench. They were productive, but I thought there were points in there where they had no inside game, either Griffin or Cook in the game. Penn took advantage of that and picked up their confidence, got back in and hitting some shots of their own. So the bench produced, but by going to the bench, it gave Penn the opportunity to gain confidence.
Next here, it'll be Florida against Butler. Another team riding a big win streak right now. Butler Bulldogs won 14 in a row. The Western Collegiate Conference champions. Tonight, Duke, Lamar, Kansas, the ball. Hey, let's check in with Bonnie Bernstein.
All right, Coach, Illinois got up by 15 at one point. How did your guys get back in it?
Well, we made some shots on the perimeter finally. Mike Jordan made a couple of threes. Frank Brown made a 3 in transition. But I think our defense got us back in it. They were on like an 11 for 16 run, making shots. And the last 7 or 8 minutes, I thought we settled down defensively.
Now you're in a sticky situation. You've got 2 guys in foul trouble. How do you deal with it?
Well, we're going to have to like mix and match a little bit in the second half. Try to borrow some time for both Mike and Jeff Owens and see if we can't hold on a little bit.
All right, Coach. Thanks. Good luck, Jim.
And look at what we're seeing right here. Jordan now playing against Williams early. I really think that when Penn goes back to man-to-man, if they do, and they get an opportunity to have a Bradford or a Williams being guarded by Jordan, they've got to try to pick up the 4th foul on him. Good defense by Penn again in the zone.
Kapitanovic saved it from going out of bounds. Whipped it over to Onyekwe.
So you have Bradford, who hasn't been able to had a field goal so far. Langwell for Penn, who's not been able to get anything going, and he's had some wide open looks.
Jordan, stutter step move into.
Went right by, no help inside. Cook didn't see him coming.
8 for Jordan.
He really has to be careful on the defensive end, Jim. That's where he picked up all 3 of his fouls in the first half.
Owens doesn't come out with his 3 to start the second half. Lucas Johnson hits his first field goal of the game. Cook was 0 for 2 in the half. Bradford 0 for 5 in the first half.
Onyekwe got screened off on that play. Nobody helping out. Owens on the bench, trying to save him from any more foul trouble.
Onyekwe, open shot for 2.
Penn's got a total game. Reminds me a little of Corky Calhoun, who was an outstanding player, one of Penn's all-time great ones back in the early 70s. Good size, can shoot from outside. Looks like he really likes to play the game.
Lane blocked.
Kapitanovic got a piece of it.
A 3 to tie. Stolen inside by Bradford.
Probably not a good pass there. No reason for Penn to get over anxious here.
Williams gets free.
Kind of like we saw down at the other end with Jordan. Williams having a big game. Bradford so far not being able to do anything offensively.
down. Jordan finds on Nick Way baseline for the slam.
Boy, Illinois not getting any weak side help at all defensively. There's Onique hitting the jumper from the outside, put the ball on the floor, going baseline. Hook over inside, threw it to the wrong side.
Traveling.
That was a bad feed by Bradford that time, Jim. He threw it to the wrong side. Here we'll see Onique taking the ball on the baseline just after we saw him hit that jump shot. He's got a total package. Wherever he was learning how to play over in London, somebody was giving him some good techniques.
Ivy League Rookie of the Year. Penn, if you go back to the first half, has made its last 7 shots. Can Brown keep it going? Nope, that would have tied it. Michael Jordan has it, though. Langle, quickly, Brown, run to the rim and in.
Give Langle a lot of credit right there. He had the open shot look himself, pass to a teammate who had a better look.
Almost fought all the way back from 15 down.
Second time today, nobody helped out.
And nobody picked up Williams once he got past, once Jordan was picked off.
Jordan got picked off. Nobody on Johnson whatsoever, and almost got Jordan hurt. Twice today he's been hit with a big screen.
Langle in trouble, doubled up. Inside Brown, great pass on Nick Way. Keeps it alive. On the floor, Penn comes up with it. Brown.
With the exception of Johnson, nobody really hustling for Illinois on the floor right now.
Illinois lead of 3. Williams floating, spinning out. Tipped around out to McClain.
Bradford picks up. Here you have Jordan is playing on Williams. That ball was not a turnover because Johnson kept his hand on top of the dribble. Even though it was unusual dribble, it was not a turnover.
Kapitonovich called for the foul. Again, Illinois' leading scorer, Corey Bradford, shut out so far. The Illini leads by 3.
Jim, this is not the way you teach dribbling in a summer basketball camp. But as long as the hand is above the ball, it is not a turnover. So that's why Johnson, although it was a very strange looking maneuver, he did not commit the turnover. Right we have now, Jim, a little interesting story inside the story. Langle is 1 for 8. Bradford is 0 for 5. We're looking at 2 guys are really instrumental in these teams. They average 27 points between them on these 2 teams, but it's kind of been just a situation where they negate each other. Points are coming from elsewhere.
Langle, Penn's number 2 scorer. Bradford, Illinois, leading scorer. By the way, Jordan goes out because it's a defensive possession.
Right. Anytime they can steal a second or 2, they do.
Owens remains on the bench with his 3. Bradford too strong.
0 for 6.
Johnson quickly puts it back up. Boy, that was a quick release.
Yes, sir. Johnson is having an excellent basketball game out here, and he's really setting the stage for his team in terms of motivation.
6 for Johnson. 3 rebounds. Kapitonovich written behind him. Oh, nice. Johnson, Bradford scores for the first time. The Fighting Illini's leading scorer had been shut out until that basket. Illinois had a huge 15-point lead in the first half. It went down to 1 here in this half, but now a little run here. And Illinois back in front by 7. His lawsuits, custody battles. Don't miss the drama people we're talking about. See for yourself an all-new episode of Family Law.
Well, Jim, family law is not running too well down in Texas, is it? Luke Axtell now with a second lawsuit coming on.
Former Longhorn, transferred to Kansas.
Mainly the Texas Ranger.
Left the team, Kansas. We won't see him here on the floor tonight.
Young man who I would have thought would have been a major factor in college ball this year. Certainly hopes that this medical condition can be solved and he can get back to playing again.
Away from the ball, call on Lucas Johnson.
Johnson with the call, and we saw Owens get a couple of those reach calls, and Johnson picks up his third now. So Capalier coming in, and Illinois in a little better shape to replace Johnson than is Penn for Owens.
Tennessee was down double digits, but now the Vols have tightened things in Birmingham at halftime. Owens in with his three. Jordan thought about it, almost released it. They need Langle, and he gets it. Three.
Huge. He was 1 for 8 up to that point. That's a huge shot, confidence builder for him.
Reduces the deficit to 4.
And they stay in that zone now. Owens in the middle has good wingspan. Place for Capaglia to go. Almost was a 5-second call.
Bradford, three-pointer, yes.
Why did that go in, Jim?
Because he made a layup and got on the board.
And he got on the board, and he caught that ball and released. There was no more pump faking. Just a nice, smooth motion.
Wonderful rhythm to that.
Exactly. He just put himself out of rhythm on earlier shots today. So Langle and Bradford, who we talked about, not having big games come through for both teams.
Onyekwe dumps it inside Owens for the easy lay, and Onyekwe changed the plan. He's going to put up a 3 at the last minute.
I'll tell you, he has a great feel for the game.
Showed it right there.
Yes, he does. I mean, he's shown us everything you need. He thinks about the game. Bad pass by Bradford.
And stolen away by the Quakers. Bradford with the 3 before has made now at least a 1-3 in every game in his Illinois career.
There's Jordan with a lot of quickness advantage right here. See if he can take McLean off the dribble. Not trying to do it.
Work it into Owens instead. Hook shot. No.
Tough shot to make. Probably forced that a little bit. I think he should have gone back to Jordan where they had the advantage.
Oh, that will be the 4th.
Blocked the ball with his right hand, fouled with the left, and picks up the 4.
Jeff Owens, number 51. That's his 4th, the team's 2nd.
Illinois and Penn in a tight one here in Winston-Salem. Illinois led at one time in the first half, 27-12, and also had its star player Michael Jordan saddled with 3 fouls. He has not picked up his 4th, however.
But Owens did on that one. He's the shot blocking leader career-wise for Penn. He did block the shot with the right hand, but they said push with the left hand down inside. That's tough for Fran Dunphy.
Penn came back from 15 down, got within 1 earlier in this half. Frank Williams having a big game. Now with 17 to lead the Illinois attack.
Illinois was in a position to put this game away in the first half. Just didn't get it done, and now Penn battling back. An undefeated Ivy League champ, Jim. He's got a lot of pride.
That would have counted had it dropped Kapitanovich to the line for 2. Kapitanovich hit a 15-foot jumper, the buzzer at the end of the first half. And at the conclusion of every NCAA tournament game, we'll be selecting the Chevrolet Most Valuable Player from each team. To date, Chevrolet has contributed over $8 million to the scholarship funds of America's colleges and universities. Kapitanovich with 1 more. Yes, the Quakers, Billy, 14-0 inside the Ivy League. Lost early in the season at Kentucky. That was a season opener, preseason NIT. Played a tight game at Auburn. That was when Auburn was
down 7 with Porter.
Fully stacked.
Yep.
At Temple, only lost by 4.
Let's not talk about the Kansas game.
Kansas lost by more than 40.
Lost by 46 in that one. Illinois beat the same Kansas team by 14.
Meanwhile, 21-9, made it to the Big Ten tournament final.
Nice.
Capaglia from Cleotis Brown. Senior from Pittsview, Alabama, with one of the best assists of this game.
But Fran Dunphy's really waving the magic wand, keeping his team in the game with 2 key players on the bench with fouls. The 2 guys you figured if Penn were to win this game, you'd say, boy, they had to have monster games. He's not even got them on the floor. Trying to just steal some minutes here.
Onyekwe wildly called up. He thought it was foul, no ball.
Got fouled twice on the play by Capaglia.
That's a travel, no call. Stolen away, Klatsky. And again, right back Williams with it for Illinois.
Was some sloppy play all the way around by both teams. Williams thinking that he can take Klatsky anytime he wants to. Not giving the young guy some credit for being pretty feisty.
Wants him again.
Yep.
Tried to work the screens.
He's trying to do too much.
Yep. Klatsky comes away with a second steal from him. Underneath, Langle.
There's a case with a point guard mentality Williams does not yet have.
Griffin, easy lay-in. He backed in Kapitonovich.
See, there's no way that Penn can stay with the inside game of Griffin and Cook. Illinois not giving him an opportunity to set up.
Cook not having any kind of game today. Griffin off the bench with 12.
And Cook coming off an all Big Ten, all tournament type performance. Not getting it here.
Did, in fact, let's make that all Big Ten tournament team. Archibald. Jumper too strong with 5 on the shot clock. Griffin, good rebound.
Good rebound, solid. Archibald with an unusual shot there.
Has a kind of a one-handed shot put motion.
There again, Griffin and Kapitonovich held him and got by with it.
Midway point of the second half. 5-point halftime lead for Illinois. Now 7.
Little pick and roll action.
Kapitonovich, good fake. Williams committed. Too strong. No, Archibald had an easy lay-in. Blew the layup.
Kapitonovich started off at Brown, transferred where his brother played at Penn.
Time for Illinois. Cleotis Brown from Williams.
Some release there by Williams right at the rim.
Timeout. Penn.
Look at this release. Not much spin on the ball. Perfect timing.
Illinois by 9. Jim Nance, Billy Packer here in Winston-Salem. Monday on CBS. An all-new Raymond. 9 o'clock, 8 Central Time, right here on CBS. Everybody loves Raymond.
Did that refer to DePaul? Ray Myers?
Everybody does love Ray Myers.
Indeed. Chicago.
We'll see DePaul, the Blue Demons, tonight against Kansas here. 8-9 battle. Should be a good one. All right, Michael Jordan back on the floor. Onyekwe off the glass, too strong, spun out.
There's Capalier with another strong rebound. Good two-handed rebound.
McClain stripped away. Jordan reached in.
Oh, and they bumped tense. McClain got hit right in the face by Brown.
Jordan airballs a 3.
Let's see if they have to stop this. Brown and McClain head-to-head.
There's a timeout on the floor. Here's an NCAA basketball score update.
Timeout on the floor. Illinois ball up 9. 17 points. A little collision a moment ago. McClain and Frank Brown.
Now watch this right here. You'll see the heads collide. McClain's teeth actually go right into Brown's forehead, and you can see McClain really hurting. And there are those teeth marks, and that was a headbutt of headbutts. Jim, I think back of the connection between Penn 1979 going to the Final Four, what they did in March 11th of 1979 on Black Sunday in the state of North Carolina. Penn and St. John's knocked off the 2 teams that everybody assumed was going to go to Greensboro, North Carolina and Duke. And that propelled Penn on their way to that Final Four in 79. Beautiful dump down.
Griffin banks home 2 more.
Now remember, Owen's in the game now with 4 fouls. He's got to be very careful. He's just trying to get some playing time here in the second half.
Double-digit lead again for the Illini.
Good crossover, but McClain doesn't look like he's that quick with him. He stays with people. Look at him. He's right there on
Jordan wants to.
Jordan, who is really quick.
He's just looking to find a way to get free. Can't do it. Langle with under 10 on the shot clock.
I really don't know how McClain does it.
Onyekwe 4 on the shot clock. But beautiful. What a freshman.
He is. He's as good as I've seen. He's got the total game plays well within himself, lets the game come to him.
13 for Onyekwe. Seton Hall's up 3 now in Oregon, second half. Cincinnati, double-digit lead over Wilmington. The Tennessee, Louisiana game, quite interesting.
Do you think that Bobby Huggins needed any motivation at all to get his team ready? No. And he is an excellent motivator.
He'll use that 2.
Oh, he'll use that. He probably has a 2 tacked up all over on anything that they can see.
Well, they would have loved a 3, meanwhile, 10. And that's going to be it for Owens.
Over the back of Capalier, who does a great job blocking out.
The foul's on Seth Owens, number 51.
He didn't get many minutes in this game.
He sure didn't.
That will be his 5th. He'll take his time to exit. We'll be right back. A year ago, Owens played in the tournament with a broken jaw. His jaw wired shut. Now he is shut out of action here the rest of the way, having fouled out with 8 points. A reminder, Sunday, 60 minutes. Who are the new masters of the net? The internet, that is. They're taking the cyber world by storm. The answer Sunday on 60 Minutes.
Jim Owens' granddad, Paul Owens, former GM of the Phillies,
won a World Series back in 1980, world champs.
And it'll be interesting to see what his granddad gives him as advice in regard to coming back again, because he missed his sophomore year with medical condition. You know he doesn't want to leave college basketball the way he had to today, with 5 fouls and only a place on that bench the rest of the way here with 7:30 to go and his team down.
Jordan better be careful.
Yeah, he should be real careful. He doesn't need to. Team's already in trouble with fouls. He almost picked up another. He's going to get one.
Like he wants it.
Yeah, he's going to get a foul. This is foolish on his part. Grant Dumpy just slams his hand down. This is crazy when you've already got one key teammate on the bench with fouls, and you're committing foul after foul here, aggressively going after the ball. He can't do that.
4 now on Jordan. You just saw it coming. It's like he's begging for it.
It was ridiculous.
They'll have no chance to come back without him.
Nope.
7 minutes to go. Let's take a look at the CBS Sportsline stat of the game. Bench points. That's telling today. 21-point advantage. Complete NCAA tournament coverage is CBS.line. CBSSportsline.com. Stolen away, Langle.
Well, they tried to make a point guard out of Williams. He's much better than he was at the start of the season. People can remember the game against Duke, as a matter of fact, that he had his problems. But I think that he is really going to have a hard time ever adapting that be his primary responsibility. He's a scorer. He's a freelance player. Nice.
Wraparound pass on Onyekwe. That's it to 7.
Not a team in the country Onyekwe can't play for.
Well, you just wonder if late in this game, if Jordan's not going to regret that last foul.
He's on Harrington now. Staying away from him. High-low post action again. Very nicely done by Illinois.
Griffin has been some force today inside for Illinois with 14 points, 4 rebounds.
Jim, that's an excellent half-court set. Capalier knows how to break from down in the low post weak side up to the foul line, and then Griffin gets ready to hold his position. It's there all day long for this team, and would have been there for Cook. And Cook has really seen little or no action and hadn't been a force offensively.
Kapitonovich in for Archibong.
Good place to double team somebody, but another foul. Harrington worked his way out of it.
Onyekwe whistled for his 3rd.
And Jim, you know, when you think about the tournament, there's so much history involved in the tournament. Penn had a guy by the All-American by the name of Howie Delmar. And you say, well, wait a second. There was a guy at Stanford named Howie Delmar, too, was the most outstanding player of the NCAA tournament in 42. After that, he went into the service, was stationed in Philadelphia, ended up going to Penn, became an All-American at Penn after he had been an All-American and outstanding player in the Final Four for Stanford.
Yeah, Stanford won the championship in 1942 with Howie Delmar on that team, and then Stanford not even returned to the NCAAs until the late 80s.
Maybe if he had been stationed in the West Coast, they'd have had a chance to come back a little sooner.
And when Stanford finally returned, Langle picked 3. When Stanford finally returned to the tournament, got knocked out by Mike Dean's Siena team. And Dean is here with Lamar in this region, taking on Duke tonight.
Seton Hall not being able to get away from Oregon, but with a lead. There's Griffin open again. That time, Williams got it to him on the proper side.
Griffin has to go back outside, and last touch by Penn.
That was a good pass on the inside. As long as Illinois goes down inside right now, particularly with Owens out with 5 fouls, Penn's in serious trouble.
Corey Bradford's coming back in for Illinois.
Well, you figure Bradford and Cook have not had big days for Illinois, and yet they're still in position to control the game.
Cook has hardly been on the floor in this half.
Bad pass.
And stolen by Jordan. Williams defending. Bounce pass on Nikwe. No, they had to have it.
Well, there's a Nikwe who is out of bounds when the ball comes off Williams' hands, and that's why it'll be Illinois ball.
He's had a couple of layups today in this half, in fact. But it's spun out on him.
Well, Jordan is quick, though. He has to be careful. He's got Williams on him. Not a bad idea for Williams to try to take him one-on-one, go down the lane. See if Jordan to pick up that 5th foul.
Illinois has not scored since the 8:53 mark. And a turnover.
Just not a good play by Williams at all. They're keeping Penn within striking distance here. Some very shoddy play.
Under 5 to play.
Now how important was that 4th foul that Jordan had, because they have to have him on the floor the rest of the way. Tried to break the split there.
Side Kapitanovic fade away. They've had some empty trips now where they could have cut into that 7-point lead.
Well, I thought Jordan did a good job that time. He tried to keep the ball in his hands as much as possible. He looks very discouraged now that in that half-court set, that was the best shot they could get.
Timeout, Illinois. Jim Nance and Billy Packer back in Winston-Salem. These teams meeting for only the 5th time. However, they have not met since the year Billy Packer helped lead Wake Forest to the Final Four in 1962. We are here at Wake Forest's home floor, and there's your ACC championship.
1962 and 1961. Should have had one in 1960. Didn't know how to win then. Bones McKinney, the coach at Wake Forest at that time.
And your old sports information director is here helping Francis.
Right. Francis is young and healthy as ever. And again, looking to go down inside with that high-low. Griffin and McClain.
4 minutes to go in the game. Illinois has gone almost 5 minutes without scoring.
There's the 1-4 that I thought they'd set up earlier. Tough shot by Williams. Not a good half-court set. Oh, there's Griffin with another big rebound.
Penn had boxed out, but the ball, no one picked it off the floor.
Hey, Griffin is quick. He's got good, strong hands. Gets up high in the boards. See, Griffin is open, and Williams doesn't get him the ball at the proper time.
Jordan is on Lucas Johnson. Now Williams inside. Hold on. Push off on Penn. That's the 4th on Unique.
Well, Fran Dunphy over there, as I said, no place that he really can go. He's had 3 undefeated in a row, undefeated Ivy League teams at one point. He's got 2 rolling right now. First Ivy League coach to win, what, 100 games in the Ivy League?
He's got all kinds of marks there.
Yep. And they've had some pretty good guys. Jack McCluskey,
Bob Warnow, Chuck Daly, Hall of Famer.
Yep. Dick Harder.
1-1 here for Williams. That was the 17th foul of the Quakers. That breaks the scoreless stretch at 5 minutes 20 seconds.
Williams right on 80% as a free throw shooter, 79.2. Sat out last year, as everybody knows, coming off of Mr. Basketball season in Illinois.
Designated Mr. Illinois basketball over Corey Maggette and Quentin Richardson, just to name two. We'll be right back. Who founded Penn, Billy?
Which? University of Pennsylvania?
Yeah.
The same guy that, the lightning up the, what was that?
Not Thomas Edison.
No. Ben Franklin.
Ben Franklin. Okay. You're right, you are. I thought you might have to use a lifeline.
No. What am I thinking of? The thing is...
I was going to give you 50-50.
No, lightening up the... what's the thing you do?
Kite?
Kite, yeah. That's what I was thinking of. Ben Franklin, he's a sharp fella.
Listen, I'll go to easier questions in the next game, okay? American history for 100. Jordan gives it up on Yikwe. Jordan. Thought he'd take it.
Jordan making some nice, crisp passes in there, but without Owens in the game at low post. And here you see Illinois coming out in the zone.
Way outside. Jordan, nope.
Griffin with another strong rebound. Griffin's had a great game. And think about it, Brian Cook had a great game against Indiana to put Illinois in the second round of the Big Ten. Then he had the great game against Penn State. As we mentioned, made all Big Ten tournament, but he has seen little or no action here in the second half.
Lon Kruger just riding with Marcus Griffin.
Now they're spreading it out, using a little clock. Penn not yet in a position to go ahead and foul.
2:45, though. Not a whole lot of time.
Nope. Down to 7 seconds.
Bradford driving. Turnover.
Now, Illinois not taking advantage of good, crisp play in the half-court set.
Lon Kruger, perhaps 238 away.
Does he stay in the zone? Sure does.
From a possible matchup against his old school, Florida.
Langle ought to try to get open here. He's got the three-point range. Beautiful pass.
On Yikwe. Florida and Butler coming up in the next game. We don't want to sell the Bulldogs short at all. They're on a win streak right now.
I don't think Penn should foul here.
Well, hold on. Away from the ball. There's a timeout call. That's what it is. Too early to do that, Billy?
Yeah, I think it's too early to foul. The way that Illinois is handling the ball in the half-court set, just play solid.
15 remaining. Illinois possession. Up 7. And you say it's too early to foul. Too early to put them on the line?
I definitely think so. You got a 7-point situation here. Illinois has not been executing their half-court set very well.
It would be a 1-and-1, by the way, in a non-shooting situation for the next 2 fouls against Penn.
Bradford has not had the kind of game that you would, if you're Illinois, you'd like him to have today.
Only 5 points.
So I think you've got time if you're Penn. See if you can let Illinois kind of self-destruct in the half-court set a little bit. There you go.
Lucas Johnson, Archibong. Took him to the floor. Johnson go to the line 1-and-1.
If he kept his hands off him, Johnson was on the way down anyway. It'd have been a travel.
So the sophomore will go to the line 1-and-1.
Jim, no solid screening here on the situation. See, if he doesn't push him, Johnson's going to go down anyway on the catch.
Illinois doesn't have a player on the right box. Oh, Yikwe fell into the lane.
He couldn't hold his balance anymore. Johnson, seeing that, did not release the shot. The officials did a nice job there by not calling it. Jimmy, not required as the shooting team to have a man down on that point on the blocks, but I'm surprised McClain didn't go down there.
2 swishes. He's 4 for 4 from the line.
Seton Hall keeping about that same margin. Illinois tried a little bit of zone, and they weren't successful with it, so now they go back to their man-to-man.
On Yikwe with the left hand, misfire.
Probably didn't need to use the left hand there. Boy, I like him as a player.
Illinois' last 4 points from the line. 7 minutes without a field goal. Griffin could end that streak and does. On the putback.
Young man had a knee problem. They thought he'd be out 3 to 5 weeks. Got back a lot quicker, and he's starting to really come around now.
Langle out of control. Blocked, though, on Illinois. And Griffin was away for only 13 days after having his knee scoped. He was the starter at the beginning of the year. But after that knee injury, he lost his job to Brian Cook, the freshman.
It looks like he's getting it back today because his performance today has been outstanding off the bench. He's got himself 16 points, 9 rebounds, and Cook hasn't seen much action at all. Good job by Bradford not to give Rangel any opportunity to put up the 3.
Open 3, Brown. Long rebound, Illinois.
In McLean, you don't want to get fouled here. Pass the ball to a teammate.
Minute 5 to go.
Just keep the ball moving like a hot rock. Of course, you got your 80% free throw shooter here. If you're going to get anybody fouled in your Penn, you don't want to put Williams on the line.
The Chevrolet most valuable players of the game are Uzana Onyekwe, the freshman for Penn, Frank Williams. Could have been Williams, could have been Griffin. We give it to Williams. Chevrolet makes a contribution to each school's general scholarship fund to reward outstanding students for their academic achievements and to assist those in financial need.
Jim, I mentioned about Black Sunday where Penn was victorious here in North Carolina, but I think of all the Black Sundays for Penn, I've got to go back to 1971. Dick Harder's club, undefeated, 28-0, ranked 3rd in the nation. An incredible basketball team. He had guys Bobby Morris, Corky Calhoun, Steve Bilski, who's now the AD. They lost to Villanova 47-90 in a game that Philadelphia people to this day are wondering how in the world did that happen.
Ranked 3rd in the country.
Yep.
Jordan lost it going in. By the way, the 2 free throws for Williams gives him a career-high 21 points.
Well, you have to figure there's some more 20-point games in that guy's career, wouldn't you?
Only a freshman.
Yep.
So this is the 3rd trip to the tournament for Illinois under the direction of Lon Kruger, and they'll win an opening round game for the 3rd straight time. Jordan 3. Tipped out on Onyekwe. Langle gets another try.
These are just wild attempts right now by Penn. Illinois coming right out on him.
Langle, another one.
He's got range and shot that over Griffin, 6'9".
Takes it a 10-point margin. But only 34 seconds to play here in the opening round at Winston-Salem. Trying to come up with some creative strategy. Only 34 seconds to go. Again, for Illinois under Kruger, in the tournament in '97, beat Southern Cal, then lost to Chattanooga. And then in '98, won an opening round game over South Alabama, only to lose by 6 to Maryland.
Well, one of Lon's toughest losses since as a coach was when he was at Kansas State. Had his team in '88 in the regional final against Kansas. Lost that ball game. Kansas then goes on to win the national championship, beating Oklahoma in the final. You know what it has to be for a guy to play a Kansas State player, to take a Kansas State team to a regional final and lose to Kansas?
Of all teams.
That had to be tough. Lon, one of the greatest players in Kansas State history. One of the greatest players in the history of the Big Eight.
Well, he was not only the Big Eight sophomore of the year that season, sophomore season, but he was named the league's MVP in both 1973 and 74.
Right.
2 shots for Lucas Johnson. He's a perfect 4 for 4 today.
And you jinxed him, Jim. But he's had an outstanding game. Matter of fact, I really felt that he was the one guy when Penn started to make the comeback that showed the type of attitude that Illinois need to stop that Penn comeback. And this is both of them. Still a 4-possession game, so time is the biggest enemy for Penn right here.
Lansky 3. Rebound Illinois. And Griffin held by Langle. He'll shoot 2 at the other end. 10th rebound. It gives him a double-double for Griffin.
And a very strong game. And again, as you said, the injury took him out of the starting lineup, but this performance may put him back in, although it's hard to believe that a Cook will not be seeing a lot of playing time for Illinois.
Get to a point like this, an end of a game, and the outcome is all but decided. You start thinking about the careers of the seniors who are going to be walking off this floor, taking off that uniform for the last time. One more for Griffin.
Jim, what I could see in the future, not this season or in this tournament, what I can see in the future, and Illinois will be one of the top teams in the country next year, is Griffin and Cook on the floor at the same time, because although Griffin's a low post player and will stay there, Cook is a guy that shows a lot of potential to be able to play on the outside some.
They've got a well-stocked roster. But for Penn, you're talking about the goodbyes now to Michael Jordan and his roommate Matt Langle. What a career they've enjoyed for the Quakers. See if Jordan get one more basket for him.
Johnson with the rebound and another foul.
Jordan 3 for 10 from the field today, and we're going to advance the Fighting Illini to Sunday. Take on the winner of the Florida-Butler game. And again, Butler, not to sell them short, but should Florida advance, it'll be certainly extra meaningful on both sides. For Lon Kruger especially, huh?
Talking about a homecoming. Well, when you took a look at the common opponents between these two teams, and you said at the top of the show, Jim, Penn taking on a very aggressive schedule early on to get themselves ready for this. Here we see wholesale substitutions, but the losses to Kentucky, Auburn, Kansas, and Temple. Illinois beating Kansas and then beating Penn State 3 times, of which a team that Penn lost to the one time they played them on their home court. So
Michael Jordan, disappointment
with his,
so visible.
With his background and his attending and graduation from Penn, here's one of those guys 15 years from now you want to see where he is. I'll bet you he's a leader somewhere.
He would like to be a teacher or a coach. Final seconds here.
That's what you want to do.
Dan Solomito comes off the bench and knocks down a 3.
Sitting there all day long.
Says, I could do it.
Oh, yeah. Coach, what were you thinking about not having me in there?
Only a few feet away from where he'd been sitting all day. Lon Kruger in Illinois advancing to the second round. Let's send you back to New York to our friends there, Greg Gumbel and Clark Kellogg.
All right, Jim, so the Big Ten moves to 4-0 in the tournament. Illinois with a win over Pennsylvania. Meanwhile, in Buffalo, Oregon and Seton Hall, a 1-point game under 2.5 to play. Ian Eagle and Jim Spanarkel are there, and we are in a timeout, but Oregon has made themselves a run to get back into this game.
Well, Oregon is 12-4 in games decided by 7 points or less. They've shown the ability to come back. They're an experienced team that can hurt you from inside as well as outside, and they're an excellent free throw shooting team, Greg. 74% as a team on the year.
Clark, what was Seton Hall doing earlier in this game that they haven't done lately?
They're starting to play prevent offense. They were attacking, going to the bucket. When they got the lead, they started playing passively.
All right, let's go back to Buffalo. Ian Eagle and Jim Spanarkel.
Ernie Kent, a popular figure in Eugene, Oregon, part of the Kamikaze Kids in the 70s under Dick Harder. Kent comes back to his alma mater, takes over, and has his team in a tough battle with Seton Hall in the first round. 2:26 to play. We're in the second half. Seton Hall 59, Oregon 58. Just moments ago, it seemed like the Pirates were ready to pull away, leading by 10.
The whole storyline basically for the Ducks has probably been, when you look at them struggling the whole way to try to get into their transition and up-tempo game, it's taken them the better part of 36-7 minutes or so to get to a comfortable level on the floor.
Game reset. Take a look at those team fouls. Only 3 so far on Seton Hall. The next one called on Oregon will put them over the limit. 2:15 left. 12 to shoot.
They have some options with Norwood and Scales playing confidently right now.
Shot clock is down to 7. Norwood controls it, using the Hartenstein screen. High arcing delivery. Rebounded by Gracie. The foul is good.
Gracie has given them a terrific lift off the bench, working the glass, banging bodies down deep.
Ducks lead by 1. Down to 1:46 left. Caucanis gets a touch. Here's Lane searching for a stroke, and it's there. A 3.
Just incredible. 4-17 from the floor, and he hunts down a shot in a tough situation. Wow, that's finding the basketball.
12 points for Lane, 4 of 17 shooting. And a foul called as Gracie put it on the floor. Just the 14th foul on Seton Hall. Greg Morton came out to defend it. Number 3 on him. And a timeout. A minute 24 left. Seton Hall clinging to a 2-point lead. Buffalo, how tight? Both teams have shot 10 of 27 from the field in the second half. Coming down to the final moments, a minute 24 left. Iron Eagle Jim Spinarkel, not a bad way to start off things here in Western New York. Oregon has seemed to gain confidence as this game has gone on, especially in the late stages second half.
It was a struggle the whole way for them, and finally all of a sudden the last 3 minutes or so they find a way to light themselves up and get some energy at the offensive end. Ernie Kent has done a terrific job of just hanging with this team. Really what it comes down to, you can wipe all the stats away. It's the beauty of basketball, especially in March, is it comes down to games like this. Who's going to execute and make less turnovers or mistakes?
Ducks with the ball, looking for the tie or the lead with a three-pointer. Right on a bounce for Bracey. Bracey won with Morton, spin move to the rim, banks it home for the tie.
Is he ever active? Good opportunity, a little isolation for Bracey. You can see the bounce in his legs going right after it.
1 minute left. First round of the East region. The 7th seed Oregon, 62. The 10 seed Seton Hall, 62. All knotted up.
See if Holloway can try to get something going towards the basket and free up a shooter on the wings.
10 to shoot. It's going the other way.
Oh, Dallenberg with a sliding screen picks up his 3rd foul. What a call. What an unfortunate opportunity for Tommy Amaker and the Pirates. Not the big guy not holding his ground.
A costly whistle for Seton Hall with 44.9 left.
Step in right over there. Yeah, and he keeps moving up and sliding out. The big fella has to hold his ground in that particular situation.
A 9-second difference. Shot clock to game clock, and Ernie Kent takes a timeout. 38.8 left. 62-62, Seton Hall in Oregon. Florida, Lafayette, and Temple here in Buffalo. Approximate time 2:47. UNLV and Tulsa in the south, and Utah State and UConn. Most of you will be seeing UNLV and Tulsa matching up in first-round play. 38.8 on the clock. Seton Hall 62, Oregon 62. Each team with 2 timeouts remaining. Oregon basketball.
Tommy Amaker sticks, I'm sure, will stay with the man-to-man. You start thinking about changing defenses right about now. The thing about the Ducks, though, is that they have pretty good hop from their wing players right now. So the Pirates just have to basically stay to their man, play one-on-one defense, and really see which one can tighten up the reins.
9-second differential. Shot clock to game clock. 25 seconds to play. All tied up, 62 apiece. Right on a bounce inside. Bracey couldn't handle it initially. 9 to shoot. Norwood
looking for Bracey. They got him.
5 to shoot. Bracey to the rim. Leaning in. And a foul call.
An isolation of taking Bracey away from the basket. That brings Dallenberg out on the floor. You neutralize a 7-footer's advantage by bringing him and stepping him away to 15 feet. And look at the isolation. All of a sudden, you get Dallenberg moving and having to try to block a shot really on the move when he's better just standing still, waiting for a second opportunity.
Free throws, looking for the lead. Brian Bracey, a junior college transfer from Malcolm X College in Chicago, Illinois. Hits on the first, a 71% free throw shooter. It has been an emotional year for the young man from Chicago. His father committed suicide over the summer. And Brian Bracey is at the free throw line with a chance to give the Oregon Ducks a 2-point lead. 12.7 on the clock. Hits the second. 64-62.
Has to get something going towards the basket.
Holloway, 6 seconds. Now Kaukanis, drive to the rim, layup. We're tied. 3.3 left.
The Ducks were thinking that Seton Hall was going to go for it all and go for the win. They lure him out and they break him down.
Timeout with 3.3 on the clock. 64-64. The Hall in Oregon. Back in Buffalo, where Seton Hall and Oregon are They're tied at 64 apiece, and Remus Caucanis, the senior, the leader, going to the basket.
You see the Ducks, though, are all out of position because they're thinking, well, we don't want to lose this game, which makes sense. Come outside, prevent a long heave to lose a basketball game. Caucanis, that's why Tommy Amaker has him on the floor, though. Even struggling through the injury problem with the ankle, they need his poise on the floor.
Oregon, though, will get a final opportunity with 3.3.
Well, you look where they're going to inbounds the basketball. I mean, it's going to be a long way to go. Seton Hall wants to prevent the ball getting really to half court easily. So if you catch, you want it going towards, away from their basket.
Jones tossing it in. Smith, 2 seconds. 1 second, he'll hold it, throw it at the buzzer. And we are going to overtime.
I don't have a problem with that because you do not want to cause a problem in your backcourt. So that's a heady play by Smith, even though it didn't look like it.
First game of the day in Buffalo. We need an extra session. 64 apiece. The Seton Hall Pirates and the Oregon Ducks tied at 64 as we get you ready for overtime here in Buffalo, New York. Seton Hall, the 10 seed, Oregon, the 7 seed. You said it at the top of the broadcast, Jimmy. Forget about the seeds the second the ball goes up in the air. And this one has been close throughout, but there were moments in the second half where the Pirates appeared to have the upper hand, ready to take over.
You take a look at their overtime records, 2-0 each. But one of the things, if you're the Ducks right now, I'd be convincing them, and I'm sure Ernie Kent is kind of positioning it in this way, saying that, hey guys, we're getting stronger and stronger as this day progresses. So now we're lucky we get an opportunity to go to overtime. The reverse has been true for the Pirates. They've had some problems hanging around. Granted, they played a good solid minute and a half just then, but I think the strength is going towards the Ducks.
I think you're right. The roles did reverse at about that 5-minute mark of the second half, where it was Seton Hall all of a sudden playing back on its heels.
Traveling and playing basketball is a very difficult thing. The Ducks experienced that. They did come out on Tuesday to get a little head start on it, but I still think it had some effect the first half, and into the second half they struggled. Now all of a sudden it's even up again.
Gracie and Dellenberg to jump it up. We're going to have to do it again.
Yeah.
(64-64) overtime here at HSBC Arena. They'll reset the clock as well. 2 seconds it ticked off. 5 minutes showing. And overtime is underway. Knocked around, Lane trying to save it. He does for Caucanis, and Seton Hall will have the first possession.
That ball was off Lane's foot, too. That's why he had to track that basketball down.
Holloway, Lane, Morton, Dellenberg, Caucanis for Seton Hall. Gracie, Scales, Wright, Hartenstein, and Jones, the 5 on the floor for Oregon. Dangerous pass. Morton penetration through the legs of Dellenberg, out of bounds. We are in overtime with 4.5 to play. Oregon and Seton Hall tied at 64.
A game that has been just a flat-out battle for the Ducks all afternoon. They've fought their way back into this, a sluggish afternoon, but they get a second chance in overtime. The Pirates are second-guessing themselves a little bit.
Scales on an entry. Gracie didn't expect the pass and a turnover.
Pirates have controlled the tempo pretty much the whole way, setting the tone, slowing it down, especially at the end of the ball game. May have worked against them a touch. They have to get a scorer involved, whether it's Lane or Caucanis.
Lane is 4 for 17 from the field. And now Holloway will slow things down with 15 to shoot, set up the offense. Holloway leading the way for the Pirates with 23. Caucanis. That's goaltending. Remus Caucanis, who tied this game at 64 at the end of regulation, gets Seton Hall on the board in overtime.
Watch how quickly you shoot it from underneath. You don't bring that ball up in the traditional shooting position. He scoops it up. The reason you scoop, get it off the hand quickly, get it up fast, and force the goaltending call.
Gracie got it too late, and Seton Hall leads by 2. 3:28 remaining in OT. Here's Jones off the dribble. Gives it up. Jump shot. Right. Lines it up. And hits a 3.
Been pretty quiet most of the afternoon, actually. He can be fairly explosive. An underrated player. Big shot.
There's Holloway crossing over. Left-handed attempt, no good. And Gracie able to clear it for Wright. Oregon looking to run. Seton Hall backtracks defensively. And a giveaway. Holloway on a race to the rim, trying to angle inside the layup, high off the glass and in.
You may have noticed Holloway just then. Very shrewd play. As he went towards the basket, he made sure that he ducked in front of the defender. You get your shoulders in front, then you're dictating what's going to happen.
25 for Shaheen Holloway, and Seton Hall leads by 1. Out front, Bracey. Good cut. To the rim, Jones hanging. Couldn't spin it in.
D'Alembert a factor again, forcing him to go to the reverse side. D'Alembert with the 4 fouls.
Holloway attacking. Kick out for Lane. And they'll reset with Caucanis. 2:20 left in OT. Seton Hall up by 1. Lane on a pump fake, defended by Wright.
Good pressure there by Wright. Lane will shoot that with somebody on him.
Caucanis spin move to the rim. Little flip. No, not to the outside. D'Alembert. Risky pass. He could have reset it.
New shot clock goes the other way.
Scales, an explosion to the rim. He missed the dunk.
Ernie Kent living off the bench. Looking for a call. No call. D'Alembert once again defensively.
And Tommy Amaker wants a timeout.
Slow down, guys.
1:53 left in overtime. 68-67. Pirates.
Hey! He's in the garage.
Hey! If you're going to have a garage, have a garage. And if you're going to use an oil, use an oil. Penn's oil with Pure Base. Specially formulated for stop-and-go driving.
Like what I've done with the place? Hey, what does this do? Well, that opens up the roof so I can airlift anything in or out of the garage.
Stop. Go. Penn's oil.
Bob, can you make sure Carol gets these?
Oh, thanks, Bob. Have a good night.
Payday, Bob.
Hi, Karen. Husband's still in there working late again.
What a trooper.
How do you plan on providing for your family after you pass away? Conseco's life insurance policies can give your loved ones a regular monthly paycheck. Conseco, step up.
Seton Hall holding on to a 1-point lead. Watch Shaheen Holloway try to find the defender. You see him going towards his right. He wants to get his shoulders in front of the defender, and that clears a path to the basket. The other end of the floor, the action. Scales going after it. And just misses the dunk. D'Alembert was a factor. I didn't think he really put the hand on him, the body on him. A tough break for Ernie Kent and company.
The game reset. 2 timeouts apiece. Team fouls. Both clubs are 1 foul away from going over the limit and hitting the bonus. A minute 47 left to play. We're in overtime. Seton Hall 68, Oregon 67. Pirates with the ball. It's Holloway.
Once again, patient enough to take time off the clock. A 1-point lead.
There's Holloway giving it up. Lane gets it back to him with 7 to shoot. Using clock. Holloway stepping back. White picked his pocket. Lead feed for Bracey. Uncontested reverse dunk.
Exceptional defensive play by Wright. He forced himself into a position where he able to strip Holloway of the basketball.
Oregon leads by 1. Holloway has a screen set by Wilkins. Gives it up on the bounce. Wilkins the jumper. Too much on it. Off the top of the backboard. 1 minute to play, and Oregon controls it, leading by a point.
Time to get a stop. If you're Seton Hall, you want to run your execution. If you're the Ducks, get the wings involved. Get guys handling the basketball who can create. Put it on the floor with the tough pressure man-to-man defense.
Jones matched up with Caucanis. 14 to shoot. 40 seconds to play. Step in. Darius Lane to the goal for 2.
You have to tuck the ball away also to protect it from being blocked again. We're even on the shot clock versus the game clock pretty much.
Back and forth we go, and Seton Hall up by 1. Oregon takes a timeout with 32 seconds left in overtime.
State joins every sports fan in America in cheering the team that has beaten the world at its own game. This year, they know we're coming.
Until now, there has been a wall between you and the tools of serious trading. That wall is coming down. The information and technology professionals use to trade is now available to everyone. Daytech Online. The rules are changing.
With Seton Hall leading by a point in overtime, it's turned into a game of defensive opportunities. First right, getting Gracie down the floor. I'm not sure if I would have tried that fancy dunk, but then Darius Lane comes back with the steal, tucks the ball away, and puts it in. What a terrific finish to this overtime match.
32 seconds left. There is a 1 second difference shot clock to game clock. The game reset with Seton Hall up by 1. You see the timeout situation. Possession arrow favors Oregon. In overtime, Seton Hall 70, Oregon 69. 20 seconds left. Spread the floor with Scales, matched up with Quakers. 13 seconds. Scales fading away for the lead. Off the rim. The follow was blocked. And a foul. Jones is going to the free throw line.
Morton went up big time to try to block that shot. A good look once again. Ball's going to kick off softly. Yeah, that's a good call. That's a very good call. Morton got up, got the right side of the hand and arm. Ernie Kent likes to call the reaction. The Ducks like it, but it's the correct call, which is the most important thing.
Frederick Jones will go to the free throw line out of Barlow High School in Oregon. He decided to stay at home and attend Oregon University. He's 2 for 10 from the field, 1 for 1 from the line, and Tommy Amaker wants him to think about it. With 8.7 left, Seton Hall leading by 1.
There's always a combination of taking a knowledge and applying it. For example, I know who the shooter is. I know what he does, what he thinks, under stress, how he'll act, what's his favorite thing to do, what's his least favorite thing to do. And I got most of my rebounds before he took the shot.
Knowledge is the edge. Call your advisor or Invesco about the Invesco Endeavor Fund. You should know what Invesco knows.
Here's your regular homepage. Here's i1.com. It's free. You use it like Yahoo, Lycos, or other search engines. Only i1.com gives away $10,000 every day, $1 million a month, and $10 million on tax day. Which one would you choose?
$10 million with no strings attached?
Yep.
It's a good thing she didn't know about this last year.
Introducing i1.com. Why wouldn't you?
Free throws may determine the outcome of this one. In overtime, 8.7 left. Tommy Amaker's Seton Hall Pirates have a 1-point lead on Ernie Kent's Oregon Ducks. And Frederick Jones, maybe the most important recruit that Kent has landed in his 3 years with the school, will go to the free throw line with a chance to give his team the lead.
Now, Amaker's timeout just been too high, and is to ice the shooter a little bit, but also to talk through your strategy when the ball goes up. You have to make sure you're blocking out, obviously.
Hits the first. Tied at 70. Still 1 timeout remaining for each team.
This is where the strategy comes in. Block it first, get the ball.
Gets the roll on the second attempt. Oregon up by 1. Holloway, 4 seconds. Holloway, length of the floor to the rim. Oh! Got it! 1.9 left at the buzzer, and that's it. Seton Hall pulls it off, and the Pirates are going to the second round. They beat Oregon in overtime, 72-71.
It's all about senior leadership. A lot of games are won with the backcourt. Shaheen Holloway taking over, going the length of the floor. Not a Duck front of him, forcing the action, making things happen. A remarkable drive by Shaheen Holloway, pushing the ball up the floor. Where are the Ducks when he breaks somebody down? Here we go, through the middle of the lane. Somebody has to step in, but he's shifty enough to drop one down and knock it back.
And what a fitting way to end it. Up and down all day.
Seton Hall a winner, and now let's take you to Birmingham, Alabama. South Region first round, Louisiana and Tennessee in a tight one. Dick Enberg and James Worthy.
Into a two-shot situation. Underdog Louisiana within 2 of favored Tennessee, 60-58. 13.3 seconds to go. Tennessee inbounding the ball after the flagrant foul, but Ron Slay missing both of his free throws, and there's the quick foul by Kenneth Lawrence on Tony Harris. They had to foul one of the better free throw shooters for the Volunteers. He's hitting nearly 75%, and that's exactly what he is today, 3 for 4. Quite a battle here in Birmingham in round 1, the first game.
Absolutely, and the last minute has been some exciting basketball with Ron Slay missing 2 free throws and Tennessee getting the ball back after the flagrant foul by Smith, and that puts the ball in Harris's hand, and he knocks down the first of 2 free throws.
61-58, and Harris connects on the second free throw. Then it puts Louisiana in a 2-possession situation. Louisiana leading by as much as 12 points late in the first half. They led 40-32 here in the second half. Tennessee finally caught them at 42, and it's seesawed since then. And Harris coolly hits both free throws, and it's a 4-point lead for Tennessee, and a timeout Louisiana. The Volunteers by 4. 10.8 seconds left. 19 in the game, 9 for 16 from the floor, and freshman Ron Slay of Tennessee, 15 points, 13 of those in the second half to spark the comeback of the Volunteers. And now Louisiana, 10.8 seconds, and will need a sort of miracle here in the city they call the Miracle City, Birmingham, Alabama. Butler almost lost the handle. Harmon to Thomas. And it's knocked out of bounds by Higgins. No, they say it goes off a Louisiana player. So good defense by Tennessee. And with 2.5 seconds, it would appear the Volunteers on their way to the second round.
Something happened with that clock, because when the ball went out of bounds, it appeared it was 7 seconds. I was going to say that was the longest of the shortest 3 seconds.
They have not changed the clock as yet. It remains at 2.5, and Tennessee with a quick inbounds and the foul on Higgins, who is one of the poor free throw shooters for Tennessee. He's been to the line only 25 times all year, making 14 for 56%. 1.7 seconds to go, and should they eat up the limited time, the bracket would read this way: Tennessee advancing to meet the winner of the next game here in Birmingham, defending champion Connecticut, and red hot Utah State, the longest winning streak in the nation, 19.
Well, Brett Smith will be replaying this game over and over this evening. He had an excellent game up until the intentional foul, and it really cost him.
And for those not with us here in Birmingham, before the intentional foul, he made what appeared to be a very clean steal of Tony Harris to give Louisiana the ball down by only 2, but a whistle ruled a hold, and certainly changed the complex of this game, complexion of the game. C.J. Black over to say hello to James Worthy. Nice to see those young kids with a bit smiles as Higgins belies his free throw percentage, makes the free throw, and the final score will read Tennessee 63, Louisiana 58. For James Worthy and Spencer Tillman, this is Dick Enberg. So long from Birmingham, where Tennessee is advanced. Now let's check in with Greg Gumbel and Clark Kellogg in New York.
All right, Dick, thank you. So the Volunteers get the benefit of a whistle that will be questioned for a long time down in Louisiana, 63-58. Meanwhile, in Buffalo, Seton Hall and Oregon went to overtime. Here's the finish of that game.
This is where the strategy
get the ball. Gets the roll on the second attempt. Oregon up by 1. Holloway, 4 seconds. Holloway, length of the floor to the rim. Oh! Got it! 1.9 left at the buzzer, and that's it. Seton Hall pulls it off, and the Pirates are going to the second round. They beat Oregon in overtime, 72-71.
It's all about. So with a 1-point victory, Seton Hall makes it 2-1 for 10 seeds over 7 seeds thus far in the tournament. These are the games upcoming next here on CBS, and we will start every one on Butler in Florida and Winston-Salem, and then get you to the respective tips of your games. That's all coming up right after this message and a word from your local station. Don't go away.
Region first round action. It's Butler and Florida. 4th possession for the Butler Bulldogs. They have yet to score. Hangey from the outside. Florida's only points on a drive to the basket by Mike Miller. Jim Nance, Billy Packer here in Winston. Dupay, long range shot, and all Butler underneath.
Jim, what we're seeing right now is a team that wants to play half-court at time in Butler. There's a walk again. And we see Florida, a team that loves to play in transition, whether it be creating it off their defense or rebounding and running. Here's the starting lineups that we saw. Nothing's changed, no substitutes so far.
Marshall and Hangey, a couple of big bodies on the inside for Butler. Florida with a 24-7 record, meriting a number 5 seed as it turns out. Butler a 12 seed with a 15-game win streak. The winner takes on Illinois Sunday here in Winston-Salem.
Marshall on Miller, interesting matchup right here. First sequence down the floor, Miller tried to go by Marshall. He just put that big, strong chest on him. Former outstanding high school football player, showing why he was recruited heavily in that position.
Saw Barry Collier, 11th year as the head coach at Butler.
No place for Dupay. Nice job, but Robish doing a good job helping out.
Robish saves it, but a shot clock violation against Florida, and that's the second one of the game. 35-second clock expires.
I would say this, that unless Florida is going to get their running game going, and I'm really surprised they're not picking up full court with any kind of pressure. They have a much deeper bench than does Butler. And I would think that Florida would pick up full court, try to force Butler to make everybody handle the ball, keep it out of Jackson's hands. Straight man-to-man by Florida in the game. A lot of switching out front.
7th trip of the game for Butler. No points in the game's first 4 minutes.
So this is the game Butler would like to play.
Jordan misfiring. Florida with Miller pulling it down.
And here's the game Florida would like to play.
Dupay on a wing. Long rebound to Marshall.
I think we'll see Dupay quickly setting down. I see a guy like Kenyon Weeks coming in this ball game for Florida. Just as I speak, here comes Kenyon Weeks.
Those of you expecting a game of natural interest, we'll be getting you to the tip of your game shortly. And the first points of the game belong to Scott Robish. That is the first points for Butler to tie the game at 2.
Robish had a big game, 15 points against Detroit in the conference championship.
Over the top, Haslam with his first points.
Nice job, high-low, Wright, who's got the good size, really gets a great passing angle when he steps outside to throw that ball in.
The Butler Bulldogs having won their conference tournament. Jackson stripped away by Hamilton. Got the numbers here. Dupay and hold on first.
Jordan got a tip on that ball.
Ball was kicked. Yep. Kicking violation. So it'll be Florida ball with a fresh 35. Defensive struggle here at the start in Winston. Jim Nance, Billy Packer, and let's welcome in Bonnie Bernstein here in Winston-Salem. Bonnie.
Hi there, Jim. Butler coach Barry Collier is considered one of the best defensive coaches in the country, and that's really his team's forte, holding opponents to just over 55 points a game, 3rd best in the nation. Billy Donovan, the Gators coach, kind of likened their defense to Auburn. He said they're great on help defense. They're great at helping jam up the lane. Donovan also told me his team's talked quite a bit about losing to to Gonzaga in last year's regional semifinals. Said, my guys know how quickly you can get away from them, and they don't want that to happen again, Jim.
Florida possession here. Butler is the host team for the NCAA Final Four. It's a Indianapolis, Indiana school. So
have we ever had a playing host?
I don't think so. You know, the paradox here is while everybody's trying to get to Indianapolis on the road to the Final Four for a couple of weeks, Butler's trying to stay away from Indianapolis. They don't want to go home.
I'll tell you right now, what we're seeing is this. Butler's club in the half-court defensive set with the Hangee and the Marshall strength is taken away from any cuts that Florida could make. So Florida better hope that they can get their transition game going. It's the first time we're seeing Florida in a full-court pickup. Jackson awful tough. They got to get it out of his hands.
Broke it with no problem at all. SEC is 4-0 thus far in this tournament. Florida the 15th to play. Arkansas coming up later. Missing short range, and over the back it's Robish. In fact, the SEC, Billy, has advanced all 4 of its teams so far, and if you're expecting one of these games, we'll get you there shortly. But it hasn't been easy for the SEC teams. LSU,
Kentucky with the biggest margin, and that was overtime?
Double overtime. Tennessee by 5 today, a double-digit deficit in the first half. Auburn by 3 over Creighton.
And you know, everybody talked about it, and I thought that Greg Thompson really said it well. Nobody separated themselves from these 4 top teams in the SEC. So it looks like they all are about equal.
Right, too strong. Haslam with the putback.
You can see the size differential out there.
More full-court pressure.
I think this is a great move by Billy Donovan. Get the ball out of Jackson's hands.
Stolen away. Nelson. To the corner. 3-point shot, no good by Weeks.
We're seeing a whole different type of movement now by Florida. They started off the game and they were not picking up full court. Now they're picking up in their full court pressure, double teaming Jackson, making the ball get out of his hands. And to see, does anybody on this Butler team have the ability to handle the ball in the full court set? Graves coming in now, maybe he'll be the man for Collier.
Harvey comes in for Florida. Foul on Jackson was his first non-shooting situation.
Harvey down inside, giving up that powerful Hangee trying to push, but Harvey's got strength too.
Oh, block.
Wow, I thought Hangee got there, didn't you?
It sure looked like a classic draw charge, but it's the second on Hangee.
And that's going to hurt. Cornette comes right up off the bench in a hurry.
Yeah, what do you think after a second look?
Probably not there in time. You've got 2 very, very quick men inside in Harvey. Matter of fact, all of the power men for Florida, Haslam and Harvey, can really move. Cornette comes in the game, makes his first steal.
He's a freshman in the lane. Beautiful shot. Joel Cornette, freshman from Cincinnati.
Same high school as is Marshall. So Marshall had a big effect on him coming to Butler. Good looking player.
Miller outside. 3. Beautiful stroke.
He really does, Jim. Unlimited range. You can see the quick pickup. Now see if Nelson can get the ball out of Jackson's hands. Probably needs double team help.
Jackson beats it, dumps it inside. Robish +1. Scott Robish. His family knows about winning inside the NCAA tournament. His dad, Dave, went to Kansas, played in the Final Four back in 1971, and his brother Brett played at Oklahoma State back in '98. In fact, transferred from DePaul. Both dad and brother have NCAA tournament wins.
What do you think of this young guy right here? Went to Oklahoma State, as you mentioned, Jim. He's only played, coming into this year, 11 games in 3 years. So you can imagine how rusty he is and how here we are down in the end of this season. It's starting to come around for him. He looks very good.
Not eligible for the first 7 games this year because of the transfer from Oklahoma State. He, like his brother, had moved. His brother moved to Oklahoma State. Later on, Scotty moved out. And landed here at Butler.
Good cut by Weeks.
Weeks with the jumper. Major Parker is in the lineup, number 25 for Florida. Again, full court pressure.
You can see Billy Donovan fools with this lineup until he gets the rotation that he wants.
Thomas Jackson with a driving basket.
The press will not be effective unless they can get the ball out of Jackson's hands.
Nelson, jumper.
Bad shot.
And is that over the back?
Great job by Robish. Good fundamental block out. Moved Harvey out of the way.
Harvey commits his first.
Harvey, a tremendous rebounder. 7, he's leading the team, 7.2 per game, but Robish did a good job blocking him out.
Billy Donovan, of course, sharpshooter, and took Providence to the Final Four, 87, playing for Coach Pitino. Was an assistant for Pitino at Kentucky. Graves missing. Marshall puts it back up wildly. And out with the rebound, swinging elbows is Harvey.
Harvey, one of the best rebounders in the country. He's got a great wingspan, tremendous hands, and loves the contact.
And that will be on Cornette. You mentioned wingspan?
Yeah.
How big?
Yeah.
83-inch wingspan, Harvey. Butler with its 15-game win streak. A 12 seed taking on a 5 here. Why is that significant? You may have heard, perhaps not, but a 12 has won a tournament game in each of the last 11 years, but not thus far. 0-2 as of yesterday, as well, Kentucky escaped St. Bonaventure and advanced in a very tight one. We've got 2 going on right now. Well, this one here and the UConn game about to start. Otherwise, that streak will come to a close. The 11 in a row, but 12 over at least 1 12 over a 5.
Jim, you mentioned Butler with the 15-game winning streak. They now moved up to the 2nd longest winning streak, with Penn losing today. So only Utah State has a longer one.
Outside, 3-point basket by Major Parker. And more pressure.
Here comes that pressure, and there's so many fresh legs. This is the perfect thing. Get the ball out of Jackson's hands with the double team. Great job by Florida. Florida and Illinois are the 2 deepest teams with quality players you'll ever see.
Jackson forced to call a timeout. 6% from the field. Put the clamps on Butler so far from the outside, and it made it 3, the Bulldogs. Florida, I think, Billy, you could build a case, deserved a better seed than a 5. 5 seed for a team that this year, at least in the rankings, including the final ranking, was never worse than 13th in the country.
You probably could, Jim, but you know what? They had a chance to go to Kentucky and set themselves up as the #1 team in the SEC. There's a hole down inside by Parker. They also had a chance in the postseason conference tournament. And think about it. We had them at home against Auburn, where they just blew Auburn out the first game that Porter was ruled ineligible. And then in the SEC tournament, 2nd round, Auburn beat them. Oh, that was Bonner grabbing a piece.
Cornette unable to convert.
Nelson's 2nd shot today, where he just threw it up as an unusual stroke. That one hit for him. And this press will just wear a team down. Now, Cornette's got an angle.
It's so seductive because you don't want to get in this kind of game.
Well,
quick shots and everything. And
if we think back, the first few possessions, it was Butler's game. Half court at a time. They got a chance to show you the real good half-court defensive tendencies. And now Florida has made it a Florida game, using transition baskets to really pick this tempo up. They set an all-time Florida record, scoring 131. Of course, that was New Hampshire, not Butler. But they don't mind putting that ball up.
Parker just beats the shot clock.
Bonner on a push. And they've gone, what, 10 deep in this game already with players. Starting lineup sitting over in the side, getting a lot of rest.
You made the comment in the first game here where Illinois took Penn out of the tournament, beating them by 10. That Illinois may have the 2nd best 5 in the country. But I'll tell you, Florida almost, if not surpasses them, matches them in depth.
They certainly do, of quality players, and you don't see that much anymore. I mean, we'll see a Duke team tonight, #1 seed in this region. It goes about 7 deep. So if you said, well, let's have a tournament among players that are number 8 through 11, 8 through 12, clubs like Florida and Illinois are kind of special in this day and age.
Robish from the outside following a Nelson foul.
Now, there's no press, Jim, that you will ever design that will be able to defend that shot. The whole point is you usually say teams are not going to make that shot from the corner with nobody under the rebound.
Bonner stuck for a moment. Florida does everything with a lot of snap. That ball's deflected and Cornette comes down with it.
You notice whenever Butler can get this game into a half-court type game, the advantage swings over to them. Archie into the ball game, 145-pounder, but with a good shot.
That ball was deflected by Bonner. Jordan coming up short.
Now, Jordan, having missed yesterday's practice, sometimes has a tendency to throw you off a little bit.
He missed the practice yesterday to attend the funeral of an aunt back in Detroit. Three-point shot.
I really don't like the team that Florida has on the floor right now for the half-court set at all. We got Parker.
Graves is pinned.
But boy, Florida makes it happen with their defense, don't they?
All over the place. Nelson